Let's preview Week 21 up next on Fantasy Baseball Today Express. Welcome into FBT Express on Friday, August 8th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White, and let's preview Week 21. First, a look at the schedule. We have 24 teams with 6 games and 6 teams with 7 games. The D-backs, Rockies, Tigers, Twins, Phillies, and Nationals. The Rockies are one of the teams with 7 games, 4 at home against the D-backs in Coors Field, 3 on the road at the Cardinals. Starter sit these 2 start pitchers next week, and most of the time you would think, man, Spencer Strider, just get him in there. But he's been struggling. He's at the Mets and at the Guardians next week.
Yeah. But when you line up all the 2 start pitchers, he still comes out 8th. I understand the reservations with him. I share them. But, there are only so many good pitchers making 2 starts. So if you want that extra start, Strider, at the very least, is still a good bet for strikeouts. I think most people are going to want to use him.
What about Jack Flaherty? Up and down all season. He's at the White Sox and at the Twins.
So those are 2 really good matchups. I mean, the Twins lineup, not that it was great ever this year, but it's even worse now. And Flaherty, it's been a struggle. His previous start was especially bad against that same Twins lineup, I'll note. But the 5 before it, 2.73 ERA, 12 K per 9. The strikeout rates look great all season. And that other start is against the White Sox. So I think, again, in most cases, probably still going to want to use Flaherty.
Ryan Pepiot is at the Athletics. He is fly ball prone, so maybe some home runs there, and at the Giants.
But his home park is very homer friendly too. I think you start Pepiot.
Next up, Clay Holmes gets the Braves and Mariners.
Yeah, he's just so uninspiring lately. And I think a 2-start week is the only scenario where I'd consider using Holmes. And even then, only in points leagues, taking advantage of that relief pitcher eligibility.
All right, next up, we have Ryan Nelson at the Rangers and at the Rockies.
So at the Rockies, obviously, you don't need me to tell you Coors Field is a scary place to pitch, but I hadn't treated it with the same reverence for most of this year because the Rockies lineup was that bad. Oh my goodness, is Coors Field playing up to its hitter-friendly reputation here recently? I guess the summer, it's just blowing up. Offense is blowing up there. So you got to be really hesitant with any pitcher you start there. Even Ryan Nelson, for as good as he's been lately, I would leave him and his 2-start status for head-to-head points leagues.
Jose Barrios gets the Cubs and the Rangers both at home.
Points leagues, he's too volatile for Roto.
Yu Darvish at the Giants and at the Dodgers.
He's really only had 1 good start. And you got the Dodgers here among the 2 matchups. I think I'd steer clear of Darvish.
And Dean Kramer home against the Mariners and at the Astros.
He's coming out of a pretty good stretch. I think his last 2 starts have been shaky, but I just don't think there's enough upside here to risk it with him.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
Welcome back in FBT Express. We're previewing Week 21. Scott, who are the 2-star pitchers that you are looking to add and stream for next week?
Okay, Jeffrey Springs has been pretty reliable dating all the way back to the start of May. Strikeout rate isn't great, but he's facing a Rays team to start Week 21 that is especially bad against lefties, and then the Angels, and a very strikeout-prone team. So I think Springs is a good call. Zebby Matthews shown some good signs since returning to the majors. Tough matchups, Yankees and Tigers. Wish those were better. But I think if you're looking to stream somebody with 2 starts, there's a lot of upside to be had here with Matthews. Jose Soriano, a lot of upside to be had with him too it's very hard to predict how he's going to do on a start-to-start basis. He was terrible last time out, but was coming off a great stretch before then with a lot more strikes being thrown. He is the major's most ground ball heavy pitcher. Dodgers is the first matchup. You don't love that. Athletics second matchup. But again, I think Soriano has more say over how his start goes than the matchups do. And so you're looking for an extra start, at least in points leagues. You hope for the best. Cade Horton's got a good scoreless streak going. The outings have tended to be short, though, and the pitch count's low. So that's a little worrisome. First matchup, Blue Jays, not so great. Second matchup, Pirates, great. You could do Cade Horton, at least in points leagues, I think. Chris Paddock. On paper, these matchups look great. White Sox and Twins, but he did just face the Twins, and they hit him pretty hard. And he was just with the Twins a couple weeks ago, so they know him pretty well. Even so, in points leagues, I might take the risk. And Will Warren, finally. He's a more interesting option if you look at like the data, particularly the way the fastball plays. But he has gotten okay results recently, and he gets the Twins and Cardinals as his two matchups.
All right. Who are the one-start streamers for next week?
Michael Wacha against a Nationals lineup that is struggling greatly, and Wacha himself has been good. Jacob Lopez seemed to find his groove again here on Thursday. Season high 10 strikeouts, but that was just since the start of June, his fourth game with 9 strikeouts or more. He'd kind of fallen off, but with that resurgence against the Nationals, and now he's facing a Rays team that again struggles against lefties, I might roll the dice on Lopez. Slade Ciccone has been very reliable. The strikeouts have been trending down, so that's worrisome, but he's facing a Braves lineup that's not what it once was. And then finally, Charlie Morton at the Twins. It's been strangely reliable lately. And, again, the Twins, not such a good lineup anymore.
Let's slide over to the hitters. The best matchups for next week: Rockies, D-backs, Tigers, Royals, and Phillies. And the worst hitter matchups: the Padres, Reds, Orioles, Marlins, and Blue Jays. Who are your sleeper hitters for week 21?
Well, let's start with the Rockies here because, again, Coors Field playing at its hitter friendliest right now. And the Rockies have become fertile ground for sleeper hitters after all their issues earlier in the year. So you got Ezekiel Tovar, who is healthy at the moment, and his OPS at home is like 1,100. So it's not a full week of home games for the Rockies. It's 4 games there of 7 total. But the 3 road games are against very hittable Cardinals pitchers, so those might even go okay. But definitely like Tovar. Jordan Beck, he's good when there's a favorable schedule for the Rockies. Mickey Moniak has become a big contributor for them. Warming Bernabel, the newest name to add here, particularly with the way Coors Field is playing right now. A visitor to Coors Field this week. Obviously, that's gone well for Pirates and Blue Jays hitters over the past week, but this week it's going to be Lourdes Gurriel, I think, is somebody you can look to from the Diamondbacks lineup. Anyone from the Diamondbacks lineup, really, but he's the best among those who might be available in your league. Ivan Herrera might be my favorite sleeper hitter of all because the Cardinals have good matchups, and 3 of their 6 games are against lefties. Herrera has a 1,300 OPS against lefties, 7 of his home runs, 7 of his 10 home runs have come against lefties. So lefty killer there for that catcher-eligible player. Andrew Vaughn's been hot. Good time to use him. Luke Keishel's been hot. Good time to use him, especially with the Twins being one of just 6 teams playing 7 games. And then we got a couple Tigers here. They have the 3rd best matchups. Colt Keith taking advantage of the 7 righties on the schedule. And then Wenciel Perez, been playing every day, been performing pretty well. Only 15% rostered, so highly available even in your deeper leagues.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today Express, and we will be back again next week. Bye-bye.